Hello, Franklin County. I'm Jody Brown, and I'm the Secretary of the Franklin County Electoral Board. This fall, everyone in Franklin County will be using paper ballots, and that's going to be a change. We really appreciate Cable 12's coming to give you this information so that you will know what to expect on November the 3rd. Some of what will happen will be just the same as you've always done when you've gone to vote. You will check in, you'll go to your precinct, you will check in with your photo ID, you will state your name and your address, and the officers of election will mark you off on the poll book. They will give you, just as they have in the past, a voter pass. At that point, things get a little bit different. You will take that voter pass to an officer of election who will be called the ballot officer, or whatever his name is or her name is. And you will get two things. You will get a blank ballot, and you will get a privacy sleeve. At that point, you will get to make a choice. Would you prefer to mark your ballot standing up or sitting down? And then you will make your way over to one of these two types of voting booths. We'll have some on a table like this, and we'll have some stand-up ones like this. You will have however long you need to mark your ballot. Inside each voting booth will be a marker so that you don't have to bring a pen with you. If you're using this type of stand-up voting booth and it's a little dark, there's even a little light here, which you probably can't see on the television because there's a lot of light in this room, but you can put a little more light on your ballot if you need to. Once you have your ballot marked, then you will take your ballot to this optical scan machine and it will read it. I'm going to ask Wallace Menifee to come up and be our sample voter. I'm going to show him a ballot, and he's going to look it over, and he's going to make a guess or some kind of judgment about whether or not he thinks this ballot is appropriately marked so that the machine can read it. So what have you decided?
Yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
think so.
Try it. And notice that it now says valid ballot, and it's casting the ballot, and it's ready for another one. So that's how long it takes for a correctly marked ballot to be counted. I'm going to give him another one now. What about this one? Do you think that one is correctly marked so that it can be counted?
Yes.
Okay, let's try that. And that one was also correctly marked. Let's try a third one. How about this one?
No.
No. Oh, I didn't mean to take it from you. Let's find out. This says blank ballot detected. Make sure you use the proper marking pen in the proper voting areas. To return and correct your ballot, press return. To ignore this message and cast your ballot as is, press cast. So would you like to have another chance to mark that ballot?
Yes.
Press return. Either place. Yeah, no, you're right, it is down here. All right, and then the ballot comes out. He can return with his privacy sleeve to the voting booth and mark the ballot, which had no marks on it at the time he put it in the machine. Okay, so that's that one. How about this one? Is this one going to be doable?
Yes.
Okay, let's try that one. This one says major overvote. At least one major contest has too many votes. You filled in too many ovals in one contest. And it was the contest for president. You chose 2, you are allowed 1. Press the return to get your ballot back. And if he had chosen to cast it, it simply would not have been counted. So now we can see that we have on this ballot both a vote for the printed name and a write-in vote, and both names are marked as wanting to vote. Now, what would happen at this point if he wanted to cast a legal ballot? He would ask the officer of election for a new ballot. And he would write void across the top. We would put that ballot aside in a box so that the officers of election can count them at the end of the night, because the officers of election have to be able to account for all of the ballots that the registrar sends to them. But you did very well. Thank you for doing some of them right and some of them wrong. That helped.
Thank you.
Thank you. When the polls close at the end of the night, the officers of election have to take the ballots out of the bin that they've been dropping into. We have Kay Chitwood, our Franklin County Registrar, who's going to show us how they're going to do that. As you see, she's unlocking the bin, which will have been locked all day long, and inside are the ballots. And they're in two different places. Let me have this one, please, first. This one was in a smaller ballot bin because it has a write-in vote, which is this contest right here, that was voted correctly. But because it's a write-in vote, it drops in a smaller bin inside the machine, because the officers of election have to be able to list all of those write-in names. The other ballots dropped into the main ballot box. And all of the ballots then, once they had recorded any write-ins, would go into a box that is sealed and is taken to the clerk of the court's office. So that's a little overview on the new voting process. We hope you'll find it easy and intuitive, and we certainly hope to see you on November 3rd on Election Day.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine this morning. Very important information. This day is coming and you're going to have to be there. This is a right you have. What is that right to do? The right to vote. You know, a lot of people for many years, way back, worked hard to develop a country that you would have those rights. Take advantage of it. And I'm serious. It's not an old man telling you a story. I mean it. It's important. And it's neat that we can have it here and get you schooled in it. I'm sitting here looking at it saying, wow, who's the one responsible? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Jody.
Hi.
Jody Brown is here. Jody Brown tried to sneak in while I was out for the last couple of weeks, and she couldn't. She had to come back, though. Say
That's right.
hi.
That's right. Hi.
I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad Dee is doing well, and Lou was great, but we're very glad to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun. I'm still I still enjoy it.
Good.
You know, kind of like, you know, you've been around doing things for a long time, and you go back because it's fun. You know, so this. Would you introduce yourself, my dear?
Yes, I'm Kay Chitwood, the General Registrar for Franklin County.
Ms. Chitwood is going to be here to make sure we say the right things, and Jody is here to tell us what those things are. We're going to talk a little bit about the process, and if you watched the show recently, and I did not track, I don't remember the day, but I got most of it at home, but we looked at it again today, how to vote. It's just that simple. How to vote, not who to vote, but how physically you tender your vote. All right, Professor, it's up to you.
All right, I'll take my professor hat off for a little bit.
Okay.
And put on my Secretary of the Electoral Board hat.
I'm
know.
sorry, I dozed
That's right.
off. She
That's
gets carried
right.
away like
That's
that
right.
every once in a
Well,
while.
it is,
Yes,
we are,
yes, ma'am.
everybody in Franklin County is going to be voting on paper beginning this election. And it will be a new experience for most people. Most people in Franklin County have never cast a paper ballot. You and I have, but most people have not.
Well, John Adams gave me
Right,
the tip.
right.
Go ahead.
But the process is different now than it was then when we cast paper ballots. Why then at the end of the night, why the electoral officers had to hand count the votes. Well, that simply would not be practical today. So we have new voting machines that will electronically count the votes, but we will also have the paper ballots, which will then be stored in the clerk of the court's office for 3 years, I believe is right.
Two
Two
years.
years. See, that's Kay knows all these things. And should there be a need for a recount in any contest that's on the ballot, why we would not only have the records from the machine, because the machines we have actually take a photo image of both sides of the ballot, and we would have that tape. But in addition, we would also have the actual paper ballots that in the case of a recount, we could go back and examine.
The paper ballots are retained.
That's right.
And I guess the idea is in the event,
Right.
If there is no event,
Right.
and we just count the votes, we don't sit and count them, but
But
you
the
know what I
machine
mean.
counts
Machine
them.
counts them. But if there is no question or any difficulty, I guess, or something that red light's going
Right.
on, it's just like any other voting. It's logged in and you do it. But otherwise, you do have an interesting method by which you
Right.
can actually. What is your job in all this, ma'am? And reintroduce yourself, please.
Kay Chitwood, I'm the General Registrar for Franklin County, and it's part of my duty to make sure that everybody gets their vote counted and make sure that they're actually registered and that we make the polling place available to the voter.
Boy, you said a mouthful. That is a big time job,
It is a lot.
because there's hey, I'm going to really pile it on, but that's a lot of pressure.
Yes, it
Because
is.
you've got to get this thing going, you've got to make sure it's done right, you've got to make sure there's people there to handle it, to let people know, and then even though it's somewhat electronic, or maybe greatly electronic, to actually count them, it smacks of like something you did years ago.
There are certainly elements of that. That's true. But
Say that again.
there are elements that are
Certainly
certainly,
elements.
certainly.
That's neat, because that's right, because I'm always saying, we ought to do it the way they did it 50 years ago. It
Well,
worked. Why did we
we've been
change?
listening to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Takes longer.
No,
All right.
actually, we hope it takes less time. We hope that there will be no lines involved in this process once you check in to your precinct. There may be a line to check in, but after that, we hope we have planned for enough voting booths that everyone can go. Once they get their ballot, there will be a number of voting booths, both the stand-up style
At every precinct?
At every precinct. There'll be the stand-up style and the tabletop style. Voters will have a choice. They can go in.
Okay.
They can take however long they need to mark that ballot. There's no time limit there.
But you are given,
And you're given a pen that we would prefer that you use because it's a nice black pen. And it'll make it easy for the machine to read your choices
all right, so you go over in
in a booth.
a booth that you're protected, covered,
Right,
private. You mark in your ballot.
right.
You don't hit a button,
No buttons,
pull a lever,
no levers. Just scribble it in.
turn out a light.
No, anybody, as the gentleman who did the training for our officers of elections asked, have any of you ever taken a standardized test or bought a lottery ticket? If you've done either of those things, you have the skills to vote. You have to color in a little circle.
She's dealing with me like I'm an idiot, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it is.
Jody, you can get away with it, though.
Yes,
That's all right.
yes, I
This is such, folks, listen now. I'm laughing because laughter is a good memory hook, That old man was in, but okay, that's fine. But this is very, very serious stuff. This is a right, this is a privilege, this is something
right.
that everybody needs to participate in. And I guess we're just saying this year it's going to be done a little bit differently.
That's right.
And
sir.
it seems like, how many times do we change the method over years?
Well, that I cannot answer. I'm sorry, but
Often,
well, yeah.
fairly. I mean,
We've been using the same voting equipment since
Yes.
2005, so we've been
Okay.
using it for 10
All right.
years.
All right. So will this make anything more ready, or will this make it
It will-
easier to count?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know that it's any easier to count than the touch screens were. They're pretty easy to count too, but this will bring us in compliance with what the General Assembly said we had to do. Therefore, it will be better.
Sure glad to learn how much
Yeah.
better it's going to be.
Yeah, right.
We'll leave that one alone, but
Right.
that's okay.
Well,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are interested in why we changed machines. And I think that's important for people in Franklin County to understand. In 2007, the General Assembly said no locality could purchase new touchscreen voting machines. They could use the ones they had, but they couldn't buy new ones because they had to buy some kind of system that would read a paper ballot. So we've known since 2007 that we were going to make this expense. Some of us kept hoping that the General Assembly would, since they mandated it, that they might fund it, but that was not to be.
Wow.
And so Kay very wisely advised the county and Rick Huff at the time and the Board of Supervisors that sometime in the future we would need to make a major expenditure and buy a completely new voting equipment, and that the cost of running an election would go up. It costs more to print paper ballots than it does to program a machine. And so those expenses are a little more now. But if folks feel more confident in their vote and they feel that it's better protected, then it's certainly money very well spent. And besides, we didn't have a choice.
You're a scholar and a gentle lady to get to that, but that's actually right, yes. But it's not going to miss. It's going to be
No.
right. It's going to be proper. Any thoughts, comments, Kay?
We just want everybody to feel comfortable when they go into the polling place and feel confident that their vote actually counted. And that's important to us. We don't just do this overnight. It takes number of days to get this accomplished so that they feel
Days?
comfortable. Well,
Weeks?
months.
Months,
We started
years?
back in actually August
Okay.
preparing for this election, so it doesn't happen overnight.
Wow. I can believe that. I can believe that. Okay. Well, you, ladies and gentlemen, what is being said, I guess, is that, this is something that is very important. Voting. It's a privilege. It's your honor. It's your right. It's something that there are still places throughout the world that don't even know what that word means, or those words. We do, and we expect to do it. I expect you all to do it. I'm going to be watching you. You better go out and vote. But it's important. And whenever you have a change of some variety, thank you for doing this, and thank you for talking about it, because it's going to be a little bit of a surprise to some folks, no matter
Yes,
what
it
you
is.
do.
It is. It is.
It's good
And
to talk about it. So this is a fast, easy, and easy to get results kind of thing, but it's different.
That's right.
Now, that's a rough word because it's different. Why is it better? I'm not even going to ask. I trust. But it's a situation that has been determined is a better way to do it and a better way to make it a safe and correct. And you here watching Cable 12 will have a good opportunity. And I'm sure you've been out teaching and
We've been trying.
talking about
We've
and
been-
traveling around.
we've
And
been-
your office has probably had a call or two.
Yes, we have, and we've had a machine inside the office that the public could actually come in and test out
Do
before the
tell.
election. We also advertised some community meetings for the Franklin County Government Center and had the machine set up so that people could test the machine. So we have tried to do an outreach for this.
Thank you. Well, you speak very loudly about it. Here you sit.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
it's very important to us.
Very much so, and very appreciative. All right. This is going to happen what day?
Voting will happen on November the 3rd. And except for the folks that need to vote absentee before then, they need to get to Kay's office this week.
Ah, that's right. Well, what is today? Today is the 26th. See, I've been out and I forget what day. I'm still looking.
That's
Where,
right.
where am I? What is the day? It's fast coming.
So,
It happens
it's-
in November.
Right, it is the 3rd of November, and folks need to pay attention and know what's going to be on their ballot and which candidate they think is going to do the best job for them and for the office that they're running for, and come in and cast their vote and participate. This is
Oh, yeah.
this is the biggest way that as individuals we can shape the society that we live in.
The what it looks like, is that going to be available, published, so that somebody would see? I mean, maybe in the newspaper, there's going to be a picture of something, or
Well-
will this look different than what you did last year to the eye when you walk into a
Yeah.
voting booth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you'll be looking at paper instead of a screen,
Okay.
so that's going to be different.
I guess that's
Yeah,
basically-
that's
yeah.
that's the difference.
Okay.
And there's no officer of election that has to turn the ballot on. You're handed the ballot and a privacy sleeve, so that once you mark it, you can slip it back in there, so that as you move from the voting booth to the optical scan machine, no one is going to be able to see how you voted.
Okay.
Your ballot actually sticks out of the privacy sleeve a little bit, and if you want to, you can just take that privacy sleeve up, put it so the ballot is going in the machine will take it out, and no one can ever possibly see your vote.
If you
But-
say so.
Well, I think
We
I
actually
think that-
know so. We've
tried
tested
it?
it. We,
That's
yeah.
right. We have many
have.
times. We've
Good.
tried
So
it as
you've
we
been
were.
practicing.
Yes.
Well, we
We
had
did
a
our
number-
homework. We
I
haven't
know.
just made this decision, and
No,
we've
there-
actually did our homework to make sure this was going to work for Franklin County.
I am certain that you have, and I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate you coming down here.
Well, I appreciate being here.
This is neat.
It is.
Something to look forward to, folks. And it's one of those things that you definitely want to participate in, that you definitely want to do. I know you. We are a county of patriots, and I know that. And it's an unalienable right. And it's just going to be a little bit different, and has been determined to be a little bit better, maybe a lot better. I don't know, but it's going to be there for you. Don't miss it. And any opportunity you have to see it or understand it or look at it, you've got a voting machine,
Yes, it's located in our office.
you can practice, right?
Right.
You can come by, look at it, test it. It's ready.
My name on the ballot?
No.
Ah. There I go again.
However,
However.
you are eligible to be written into any contest that is on the ballot.
Forget what I said, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa.
If you were making an announcement that you're running as a write-in candidate, well, I just thought
There
that would
were
be a bit of
times over the
news.
years that I have done that, but not now. Boy, she does that to me every time. catches me. All
And one of the other things I would like
Yes.
to mention
Go
too,
ahead.
another thing that's very important is we have officers of election that help us out on election day. We don't do this. Without them, we would not be able to do that. And if you see your officer of election that day, thank them for coming out to do that service. They're there at 5 a.m. in the morning. They come to training, they give their time, and they volunteer for very little pay to do this. And I think that is also a civic duty that we need to remember those individuals.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. And my thanks to you. My thanks
You're
to you for
welcome.
being here.
We're honored.
Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
You did it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Very much. Very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you picked up some thoughts, some ideas. Nothing about who you're going to vote for, but how you're going to vote for. That's the deal. And it's better, it's good, it has lots of reasons to have happened, just different. And you'll find that it's very easy, and it's one of the more important things that you do. All those stories and things that happened for so many years before, our forefathers that fought to give us the privilege to do this. However you want to look at it and whatever you think about it, this is very important. So thank you. I very much appreciate you taking, and I know
Thank
that
you.
you're more than busy with it.
Yes, we
She didn't complain a bit,
prepared.
but I know that you are.
we
Thank
are
you,
very
ma'am.
busy. Thank you.
It's good to see you and good to have you there taking care of business.
Well, thanks for having us here today.
Thank you, Dick.
You're okay, Judy.
I'm fine. That's fine.
Jody, thank you. If somebody has a question or if somebody is uncomfortable, you know, this is new, and should they see you or go down to your office?
Yes, they need to
That
come to
we
the-
kind of hit on that. But I just
Yes, they
wanna-
need to come to the office or they can call us.
Okay.
And if there's, you know, if there's a group of people that would like to have a member of the electoral board come out and talk to them even yet this week, why we probably one of the three of us can probably get that done.
All right.
Um,
Well, being made as easy as it can be made, but you know, folks, it's a little bit different to a lot different. And, you know, you just got to learn. It's an important undertaking. So don't miss that opportunity, but prepare yourself for it, okay? It's a good thing. My thanks to you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's Joe.
He's fine.
Good.
He was
gonna vote?
asleep. He was asleep when I left.
Well, my wife was up this
Well,
morning.
that is wonderful. That is
You know,
wonderful.
I turned around and she was framing the doorway.
That's right. I think that's great.
Yeah.
She said she was going to fix your breakfast, so she's a woman of her word.
Whoa, whoa, let me get you back in there. You know. Neat. I'm glad to be here, as you can tell. These are dear folks that work hard on your behalf to make it right. You have to make it work. Our forefathers made it such that this was an important day that's coming. It's a responsibility, and it's something that I know that you look upon as a very serious rite of passage or right for living or whatever, but it's what makes us different. Not us in Franklin County, but us in the world. Because number one, you have the right to do it. How about that? That's a good beginning point. My pleasure to bring this to you and have these great ladies down here to talk to us about it. They said if you can explain it to him and he understands it, anybody will understand it. They think I don't know that, but I do. I've known Jody too many years. She planned it this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to stop with the vote, but remember it's coming. And if you have any questions, call your office. Okay? We're going to take a break, and we've got some other folks coming on that have some announcements to make, so please stay where you are. I will return momentarily.